Undercover CEO discovered a single mom washing her child's clothes, revealing an incredible life. Lisa stood at the laundromat, her hands deep in the warm, soapy water that felt like a small comfort amidst the chaos of her life. With each rinse of her son Jake's favorite shirts, a swell of emotion accompanied the familiar scent of detergent, the kind she could barely afford, yet was willing to splurge on for the sake of her child. As the front door swung open and a gust of city noise rushed in, her heart sank a little. Another reminder that life held no mercy. The click of coins in the machines, the hum of conversations, and the occasional laughter of other parents filled the air, a sound so distant from her reality. Just a few steps away, David, a C-suite executive wrapped in the comforts of privilege, stood disguised in jeans and a simple tee. He watched Lisa from afar, fascinated by her resilience. Beneath the smudges of fatigue on her cheeks and the determination that furrowed her brow, he saw an awe-inspiring strength. She often wore invisible armor, getting up before the sun, taking 2 buses to work, always putting Jake first, even skipping meals to pack his lunch. Watching her battle against the odds stirred something deep within him, pulling him out of his corporate bubble. As distressing thoughts swirled through Lisa's mind, worries about bills and judgments from strangers, she forced herself to focus. Each task, from folding clothes to making sure Jake got the attention he deserved after school, was a step toward a better life. Yet she felt the weight of the world pressing down on her, the constant tug-of-war between hope and despair gnawing at her heart. The annual festival was just around the corner, a beacon of happiness for the community, but for her, it felt like salt in a wound. She wanted to celebrate, but the overwhelming responsibility loomed large like a dark cloud. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the festival drew closer, tragedy struck the community, a sudden fire that destroyed several homes, turning the sense of celebration into an urgent code red. Every neighbor, including Lisa, rushed to offer support, pooling resources, providing meals, and raising funds. In that moment of solidarity, Lisa's heart swelled with the essence of a community she didn't know she'd been searching for. David, now swept into this whirlwind of hope and despair, found himself stepping beyond his role as a CEO to offer assistance alongside Lisa and others. When the festival finally arrived, the air buzzed with excitement, a bittersweet reminder of the struggles they had faced. Lisa stood at the edge of the crowd, her heart thumping in both fear and eagerness. With the community behind her, she sensed a shift. The frowns of judgment she often felt transformed into looks of understanding. As the microphone was handed to her unexpectedly, she hesitated, filled with uncertainty. Could she really be the voice the community needed? Would this moment finally mark her step from the shadows of her hardships into the light? Just as she took a breath to speak, doubt loomed, a whisper of question that held her tightly, begging to know if she would truly find the strength to rise above the silence. Lisa's fingers curled around the microphone, trembling slightly as she took a deep breath. The festival light sparkled around her, but the warmth of the glow felt cold against her skin. She felt eyes on her, those watching, waiting for her words to bring forth some spark of hope. The weight of uncertainty hung heavily in the air. With each passing moment, the silence stretched, pushing her thoughts deeper into turmoil. What if she faltered? What if her voice cracked under the pressure? In that split second, all the worries about bills, about Jake's shoes with holes, about the future filled with uncertainty, crashed over her. Yet amidst the tumult, something shifted inside her. A flicker ignited deep within her, a remembrance of the community that had rallied together in the wake of the fire, a reminder that they were in this struggle together. She started, her voice barely above a whisper. She swallowed hard, looking out at the sea of faces, her neighbors, fellow survivors, and even David, who had stepped out of his corporate life to stand amongst them. A murmur rippled through the crowd, their anticipation solidifying a sense of connection she had only begun to grasp in the chaos of the past days. This community, we're stronger than we know. We've shown that, haven't we? She found her strength, words flowing more freely now. She could see nods, a ripple of agreement. We came together when everything fell apart. We supported our neighbors when they needed us most. And we can do that again. As she spoke, she caught glimpses of shocked expressions transforming into smiles. The warmth of acceptance enveloped her, energizing her voice. Each word felt like a thread that wove the community closer together. After sharing her fears and the lessons she learned, Lisa ended with, "Let us use this festival not just to celebrate, but to remember how far we've come and to keep lifting each other up." The applause thundered around her, echoing in her chest. Tears welled in her eyes, not from sorrow, but from a burgeoning sense of belonging. The crowd chanted her name, and it no longer felt like the mere echo of a failure, it felt like a promise of hope. Meanwhile, David stood off to the side, his heart brimming with admiration. Watching Lisa rise from her doubts, he knew he had to be part of this journey. He wanted to help, and not just as a CEO but as a person, a neighbor. A sensation of urgency bubbled within him, a desire to support this woman who embodied what it meant to persevere. As the festivities continued, he approached her. "You were incredible," he said, his voice steady. "We should talk. I want to help this community grow stronger." "Why?" she asked, catching the sincerity in his eyes. "Because you made me realize something important. I need to be a part of something bigger than myself," he answered, his gaze unwavering. Lisa felt a mix of confusion and curiosity. She hadn't expected this, nor did she know where it could lead. But a flutter of hope began to take root. Could this be the beginning of more than just a helping hand? The festival lights twinkled, and laughter spilled around them. Yet Lisa found herself contemplating a future that felt more uncertain than ever before. Would she dare to trust this new path? Would she accept help from someone who had lived in a world so different from her own? The stakes were raised, and as the music played on, she took a step toward David, sensing a possibility blossoming in the air like never before. What if, against all odds, she learned to embrace the support of others, and in doing so, discovered her own strength? The music swelled around them as Lisa took a step closer to David, her heart pounding like the rhythm of the festival drums. She searched his face, trying to decipher the mystery behind his willingness to help. "What do you have in mind?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "I've got some ideas about how we can rebuild and revitalize the community," he replied, his enthusiasm evident. "We can organize workshops, skills training, maybe even a local marketplace. Something to give everyone a chance to showcase their talents and earn a little extra income. Wouldn't that be something?" A spark ignited in Lisa's heart, lighting a path through her uncertainty. "You really think they want that?" The thought of everyone coming together again, working toward a common goal, felt intoxicating yet daunting. David nodded, his eyes gleaming with conviction. "Absolutely. People just need a little bump to get started. You've already shown them they can rally, let's give them something tangible to grab hold of." She bit her lip, wrestling with the rush of ideas flooding her mind. The last few weeks had felt like an uphill climb, but maybe it was time to take a leap of faith. I think I'd like to help. But I don't know what I can really bring to the table," she admitted, feeling vulnerable yet hopeful. "More than you think. You've already got the community's respect, and they trust you," he said earnestly. "Let's harness that power. After everything that's happened, you're the voice they need." The weight of his words wrapped around her. A voice. The thought excited her and terrified her all at once. She felt a shift within herself, like a flower leaning into sunlight, but doubt nipped at the edges of her resolve. "Okay," she breathed, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. "Let's do it. But we'll need help, and a lot of planning." The enormity of the undertaking hit her, but she felt a thrill course through her. They were not alone anymore. As they shared ideas, time seemed to vanish. Laughter floated around them, the scent of fried food mingling with the scent of the impending autumn. They talked about everything from securing funding to spreading the news through social media. Lisa's mind raced, the possibilities unfolding like a glorious sunrise. What about an online platform? She suggested suddenly. So people can share information, and we can gather support from outside the community too. David's face lit up. That's brilliant. We could reach so many people. And just like that, the dream began to take shape, filled with laughter and ideas. Lisa noticed families in the crowd, parents juggling kids, laughter spilling over like the bubbles in sodas. This was their reality jigsaw pieces fitting together to form something beautiful. Hey, do you want to grab a coffee? I'd love to hash out more of these ideas, David said, his tone light yet earnest. Sure. She smiled, the warmth of possibility igniting within her. As they made their way through the festival, Lisa spotted familiar faces, friends she hadn't noticed before, people she knew but hadn't connected with in a while. Every interaction felt electric, a sign of what could be rebuilt. She felt a renewed sense of belonging, a warmth blossoming beyond the confines of her walls. What if this was just the beginning? Yet, in the back of her mind, a flicker of concern lingered. Was she truly ready for this? Would she be able to balance her dreams with her responsibilities? As they settled into a quiet corner away from the crowd, David caught her gaze, his expression steady. We're in this together, Lisa. You don't have to carry the weight alone. Just remember, there's strength in numbers. Her heart swelled. In that moment, surrounded by laughter, the world felt both infinite and close. But what if, as they moved forward, unexpected challenges arose, putting both their plans and their budding connection to the test? The coffee shop buzzed with energy. Lisa nestled into a cozy booth across from David, the warmth of the sun filtering through the large windows. She could still hear the festival's music faintly, a reminder of the hope swelling outside. All right, we need a plan, David said, leaning forward. His enthusiasm was contagious. Lisa wondered how he had so much conviction. Maybe it was naive, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something special was brewing between them. Okay, so we'll start with the workshops, she suggested, jotting down notes on a napkin. What skills do you think we should focus on? David thought for a moment, tapping his pen against the table. I've seen people in the community with incredible talent in art and cooking. We could start there. They could teach classes, and we'd still create that local marketplace idea. Lisa felt a thrill ripple through her. Yes. I can already see everyone coming in, sharing recipes, creating art together. It could be a melting pot of creativity. Their conversation flowed like the coffee they sipped, vibrant ideas spilling from their lips. The caffeine fueled their excitement, and they captured everything from budgeting to outreach efforts. The more they talked, the more Lisa envisioned the community rallying around this new venture. But in the midst of that excitement, a heaviness tugged at her heart. What if people weren't as eager as they hoped? What if they failed? She tried to shake the doubts away, plunging back into their brainstorming session. Let's set a date for a community meeting, David proposed, a determined glint in his eye. We can present our ideas and gauge the interest. Maybe we can even host it during the next festival. That idea sparked a fire of excitement in her. Yes. People love the festivals. They'll be more inclined to join in. As the hours slipped by, Lisa lost track of everything else. Laughter bubbled from their table, and occasionally, they'd catch the glances of onlookers who smiled, perhaps inspired by their evident chemistry. David shared stories of his childhood, his voice animated. She found herself leaning closer, drawn in by the stories that made up his world. But behind the laughter, shadows of worry hovered. They were coming up with bold ideas, but what if the community had been so broken that they wouldn't respond? The alarming thought took root, clouding her previously sunny outlook. Hey, David interrupted her thoughts, his brow furrowing. You okay? Yeah, just thinking, she replied, forcing a smile. This is a big step. There's a lot at stake for everyone. I know. But that's why we need to show them that we believe. Your voice means something to these people. The warmth in his words wrapped around her with a gentle pressure. She wanted to believe him, but her insecurities whispered otherwise. Okay, so we're set on the date, she said, trying to steer the conversation back. We just need to get the word out. Maybe flyers or social media announcements. That's the spirit. And we can ask others to help spread the word too, he added, excitement returning to his voice. They chatted about logistics, and for a moment, Lisa felt more buoyant. But before long, the worry crept back in. What if we get backlash? What if people think we're just wasting their time? David leaned back, crossing his arms. You won't know until you try. And you've already shown them that you care. Sometimes taking a leap is the only way to find what we're made of. His conviction washed over her like a wave, yet doubt still lapped at her feet. They were on the edge of something monumental. As they prepared to leave, Lisa glanced around the bustling cafe filled with laughter and camaraderie. She felt a flicker of hope intertwining with fear. They were about to step into uncharted waters, and she couldn't help but wonder if they embarked on this journey, what might be waiting on the other side. The question lingered, heavy with possibilities. Would their efforts unite the community, or would it drive a wedge between them? The sun dipped lower in the sky as Lisa and David stepped out of the coffee shop, their energy still bubbling from the meeting. People were spilling out of the festival's boundaries, laughter and music intermingling to create an atmosphere thick with joy. Lisa felt as if she were hovering just above the ground, buoyed by the potential of their project and the connection forming with David. Hey, look at that. David pointed toward a cluster of festival-goers gathered around an artist painting a mural. Imagine if we had a space where people could do that every week. Community art projects, cooking classes, music nights, just a place to come together. The image danced vividly in Lisa's mind. She could see children running around, laughter echoing around the venue. That would be amazing. I can picture it, the colors, the creativity. It would be a life force for this community. Exactly. And those who feel lost or unheard. They could find their voice here. His gaze lingered on her, and Lisa felt an electric connection that seemed to pulse between them. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket, interrupting the moment. It was a message from her younger brother, Sam. She opened it to find a picture of their mother, tired and slouching on the couch, flickering television light dancing across her face. The caption stung, "She needs you, Lisa. Can you come over?" The weight of her world slowly began to press down on her. While David was dreaming of new horizons, her reality was calling her back to the potential chaos of home. I have to go," she said, an unexpected tremor in her voice. "What's wrong?" David asked, concern flickering across his face. "It's my mom. She's not doing so well. My brother needs help." The words fell from her lips, heavy and unyielding. Each syllable carried the uncertainty she'd been trying to hide. He stepped closer, shaking his head slightly. "You've been doing so much for her. But you can't forget about yourself, and about what we're trying to do here." "I know." It's just tears shimmered in her eyes, caught off guard by the rush of emotions within her. David reached out, touching her shoulder gently. "It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Just remember that you're not in this alone. You're starting something big, Lisa. You have every right to pursue your dreams." His support wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, but the reality of her home situation remained looming. What if I get too caught up in this, and she needs me? Or what if I fail here, and then what's left of me to help her? Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted nearby, pulling Lisa's attention back to the vibrant street where performers had gathered on a makeshift stage. She watched as people clapped and danced, completely absorbed in the moment. Look at that, she breathed, her heartstrings tugging at the sight of joy igniting within her community. David didn't miss her distraction. You see? That's the spark we want to create. But it starts with you believing in yourself. His eyes searched hers, fierce yet soft. What if this project is your chance to build a better life for both you and your family? Her heart raced. Could what they were planning really have that much impact? It felt like a leap into the unknown, one that terrified yet thrilled her. Maybe you're right, but it's hard to let go of the what-ifs. Then take it one step at a time. Start with that meeting, and we can tackle it together. Lisa smiled, feeling a flicker of hope igniting once more. Maybe she could manage both worlds, somehow. But just as she began to think about the possibility of balance, a sharp laugh cut through the air, diverting her eyes again. Look over there. David shouted, pointing to a little girl gripping a spray bottle, drenching her father who was pretending to be a pirate. The silliness of the moment took her breath away, and for a second, she could almost forget her worries. Maybe I can change this community for the better, she murmured to herself, but deep down, the old feelings of fear still whispered within her. As they headed toward the festival music, a latent question settled in her mind, along with a determination to find a way to bring joy back into her life and the lives of others. Could she really reconcile her responsibilities at home with her dreams of community connection? Would her leap of faith lead to triumph, or would it leave her standing alone amidst the laughter? The lights of the festival flickered like hope, yet uncertainty lingered, echoing through her thoughts like an unanswered prayer. What could she discover about herself and the community if she took that first step? The air was thick with excitement as Lisa and David navigated through the bustling crowd. The music pulsed, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Lisa felt the tickle of anticipation mingle with her unease about her mother. She wanted to push her worries aside, even if just for a moment, to soak in the vibrant energy that sparked all around them. As they moved closer to the stage, a familiar rhythm caught her attention. It was a song her mother used to play while washing clothes, a melody that echoed childhood memories. The corners of her mouth twitched upward, but the smile quickly faded as the reality of her responsibilities crept back in. This project, this vision, felt like an anchor to her happiness, but the weight of her home life threatened to pull her down. Are you all right? David's voice cut through her thoughts. He studied her, the warmth of his concern palpable. I'm trying, Lisa admitted, her fingers nervously brushing through her hair. I wish things were different at home. Things can change, he said softly, offering her an encouraging nod. You're gathering all this energy, this possible change for the community. That's powerful. As they reached the edge of the crowd, a flash of color caught Lisa's eye. A young girl, no more than 7, was energetically painting bright swirls on a canvas. The girl's joy radiated, every brushstroke a celebration. Look at her, Lisa said, her heart swelling with hope. She's lost in her world, David responded, eyes shining with inspiration. That's what we need. A place where everyone can express themselves like that. Lisa leaned into the moment, feeling a spark of inspiration flaring within her. She wanted the community to feel that joy, to have a safe space to unleash creativity. But the smile faded again, replaced with the worry that her family obligations would pull her away from the fire igniting in her soul. Then, in a split second, her phone buzzed again. Another picture from Sam. This time, it was a brief video of their mother, her face solemn, staring blankly at the screen. Lisa's heart sank, and an ache spread through her chest. She felt the pull of her familial duties stronger than ever. Is everything okay? David inquired, his voice soft and gentle, but it felt like a spotlight shining on her struggles. Not really, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Maybe I just need to go home for a while. I don't want to stick around and ignore what's happening. David's expression shifted, worry etched on his face. But what about your dreams? About this project? It could make such an impact for so many. Lisa felt torn. The commitment to her family weighed heavily, but the project glimmered with potential. "Maybe I can be there for my family and make this work," she said, half believing it herself. "How about we set up a timeline?" David suggested. "If you dedicate some time to your project, we can make that happen. You can model the possibility of having both a family and pursuing your dreams." The idea settled in her mind, filling her with cautious hope. Could she manage the balancing act? She wanted to explore that path, a bridge between home responsibilities and the captivating world of community and creativity. Just then, the music turned upbeat, and a performer took to the stage, drawing the crowd in with electric energy. Lisa couldn't resist the pull. "Let us dance," she called out, the words bubbling up, an instinctive reaction to the joy unfolding before her. David smiled, his eyes lighting up. "That's more like it." They moved closer to the stage, barely thinking about the weight of their conversations. Lisa felt the music pulsing through her veins, electrifying her spirit. For those moments, the laughter and rhythm washed away her worries. Was this the right choice? Could she really walk this line between family and her own heart's call? As they danced, Lisa glanced around, taking in the vibrant personalities all around her. She felt the spark of hope illuminating within. But a shadow of uncertainty lingered still in her mind, whispering doubts amid the jubilant atmosphere. The day was fading, yet the glow of the festival lit up the evening sky. The laughter of new friends and sweet melodies intertwined, crafting a moment suspended in time. But only time would tell if she could truly embrace both worlds. Could she create a joyful spark for her community and still fulfill her responsibilities at home? As the crowd began to cheer for the next performer, Lisa's heart raced with the thought of what was yet to come, as she wondered where all these choices could lead her. The festival lights twinkled like stars, but an unanswered question lingered still. What would it look like when she truly took the first step? Lisa's feet moved instinctively to the pulsing beat, her worries momentarily slipping away. She was lost in the music, swaying to the rhythm, her heart lifting in a way it hadn't for weeks. David's laughter blended into the infectious energy of the crowd, pulling her deeper into this world that felt so alive. But just beneath that joy, a persistent ache twisted in her gut, reminding her of the tangled web of family obligations that awaited her back home. As she twirled, hair flying around her, she caught a glimpse of David, his face glowing with delight. She couldn't help but smile back, feeling a connection bloom between them. Yet the joy was tinged with guilt. How was she having fun while her mother needed her? The thought nagged, but she pushed it away and let the music guide her. "Remember this feeling," David shouted over the bass, his voice filled with excitement. "Hold on to it." But what would holding on to it mean? She wondered. What if this feeling of freedom became a distant memory as reality settled back in? They danced, immersed in laughter. Lisa wasn't sure how long they swayed under the festival lights, lost in the crowd until the unfamiliar tune shifted, slowing into a softer melody. The atmosphere suddenly shifted, and the carefree air was replaced with something deeper. Lisa felt a wave of emotions crash over her: nostalgia, sadness, a flicker of hope. "Hey, you okay?" David's concerned tone reached her through the haze of her thoughts. She nodded but couldn't silence the truth bubbling within her. "What if I fail?" The question poured out, heavy and raw. "What if I try to create something beautiful and it all falls apart?" David stepped closer, his gaze steady. "You won't know unless you try. Each step you take is yours to make, Lisa. The journey is part of it. It doesn't have to be perfect." His words hung in the air, resonating deeply. Could she really allow herself to think about pursuing her dreams while managing her family's needs? What if she tried and the project didn't take off? The thought was terrifying. Suddenly, a spotlight focused on the stage, and a performer known for their soul-stirring lyrics took the mic. "This next song is dedicated to anyone carrying burdens that no one sees," they announced. A hush fell over the crowd, and with it, Lisa felt a jolt of recognition. The song was about resilience, about finding joy amid chaos. It felt like the universe was reaching out to her. With each note, she could feel the shadows of doubt beginning to lift. It was as if the music understood her struggle and wrapped it in a comforting embrace. She watched people sway, their faces illuminated by the glow of the lights. Each face held a story, a hidden struggle, much like her own. David squeezed her hand, pulling her back into the moment. "Let us live in this moment," he urged, his voice a blend of encouragement and warmth. As they danced again, Lisa's heart thumped with renewed vigor. The absurdity of her fears began to lose their grip. Could she truly carve out a path that honored her dream and her family? Could she create a space where those burdens could lighten for not just her, but for others, too? Just as the last notes faded into the night, Lisa caught sight of the little girl still painting, her face an open canvas of bliss. The way the girl had poured her heart into every brushstroke reminded Lisa of the power of one's passion. This thought ignited a flicker of resolve within her, a spark she craved to fan into a flame. But what would the first step entail, and would she be brave enough to take it? The crowd roared with applause as the performer finished, leaving Lisa caught between exhilaration and trepidation. The festival buzzed all around her, yet she felt still, as if time held its breath. The answer felt just out of reach. "Maybe we should catch up with Sam after this," David suggested, breaking the spell. "He's been worried about you. Wasn't he it a sign? A signal that her world of family and dreams could intertwine, that she could have both." She needed to speak to Sam to gauge how to balance everything swirling in her life. A deep breath filled her lungs as she considered the possibilities ahead. "Yeah," Lisa replied, determination threading through her voice. "Let us do that." As they stepped back from the thrumming energy of the stage, she felt a tingle of change hover in the air, an invitation to the unknown. But the more pressing question loomed large in her mind: how would her first step redefine who she was? The harsh noise of the crowd faded as they moved further from the stage, but the thumping of Lisa's heart continued, a reminder of the moment she had just experienced. David tapped his fingers against his thigh, a smile still dancing on his lips. She could see the concern in his eyes, one that mirrored her own worries about stepping back into her reality. "Let us find Sam," she said, leading the way through a maze of tents and food stalls. The sweet scent of caramel popcorn wafted toward them, intertwining with the vibrant energy of laughter and chatter that enveloped the festival grounds. It was tempting to stop for just a moment, to indulge in a sticky treat and relish the joy, but Lisa stayed focused. "Do you think he'll be mad I haven't checked in?" she asked, her voice barely carrying over the noise. David shook his head. "Nah, he knows you're busy living your life. But he will want to know you're okay." There was a sincerity to his words, grounding her even more. As they approached a grassy area where Sam often set up his art display, Lisa felt her stomach churn. She couldn't shake off the guilt gnawing at her. Sam had always been her rock, but in trying to live up to the ideal sister, she had let the weight of responsibilities take a toll on their connection. What if he was disappointed in her for not being more present? Then she spotted him, leaning against a backdrop of painted canvases that came alive with bold colors. He caught sight of them from afar, his eyes lighting up instantly. "Lisa!" "David!" he called, arms stretching wide as he stepped closer to engulf her in a warm embrace. Lisa melted into his hug, letting the familiar scent of paint and earth wrap around her like a soft blanket. "Hey, Sam. I'm sorry for being out of touch," she mumbled against his shoulder. "Stop that. You're here now, and that's what matters." He released her, stepping back to get a better look. "How's everything? You looked like you were having the time of your life." "Yeah, it was amazing." But also she hesitated, eyeing David for support. "I have thoughts I can't shake. Things about the future. About Mom." Sam's expression softened. "I know you're worried about her, Lisa. But you deserve to live, too. It's okay to take some time for yourself." Family can still be okay with a little distance to grow. His words hit her like a splash of cold water, reviving the embers of her resolve. She took a breath, letting it settle in. What if I want to pursue my art? What if I want to make something of my own? Then you should, Sam replied, enthusiasm lighting up his eyes. You're an incredible artist, and you have so much potential. Don't let anything hold you back. We can figure out how to juggle everything together. Really? You think so? There was a vulnerability in her voice, a fragile hope. Absolutely. We'll be a team. Like always. His smile was infectious, and just for a moment, she felt a sense of safety in his words. David joined in. And I'm in, too. Whatever you need, however I can help. In that moment, Lisa felt the weight of her responsibilities lift ever so slightly. Maybe she could find a way to balance the two worlds. Her family needed her, but she had dreams that she couldn't ignore. The thought of merging the two paths was both exhilarating and terrifying. As laughter echoed around them, Sam pointed to the canvas behind him, a vibrant landscape full of color. I know you have something to say with your art. What's holding you back? Share it. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. There was so much she wanted to express, so many hidden feelings and stories yet to tell. But the rush of excitement also brought fear. What if no one understood her? What if her fears haunted her again as she took this leap? Uncertainty began to swirl inside her once more, threatening to extinguish the budding flame of determination. But deep down, she realized she was ready to wrestle with the unknown. The pulse of the festival reminded her that community was not just about family, it was also about connection, support, and love. Can I show you? She finally asked, her voice breaking the silence of anticipation. Definitely. Sam encouraged. We're right here with you. Always. And as she stood there, knowing she had the chance to chase her passion, she wondered how to translate her fears into something beautiful. The night was still vibrant, full of promise and the unknown. But what if this journey led her down a path she never expected? What if, in pursuing her dream, she found herself in a way she never thought possible? Lisa took a deep breath, feeling nervous energy electrifying her limbs. The canvas seemed to shimmer under the festival lights, daring her to step forward. In this moment, the fears that had clung to her like shadows began to fade, replaced by the light of possibility. She glanced from Sam to David, seeing encouragement in their faces, and something within her stirred. Okay, I want to. The words tumbled out before she could lose her nerve. I want to share my art, to show you what I've been working on. Her heart raced as she approached the easel at the edge of Sam's display. The vibrant colors on the canvas beckoned her, whispering stories of longing and hope. She pulled the cloth away, revealing a piece she had kept hidden for too long, an explosion of swirling blues and greens, representing the emotional tide she constantly battled. Streaks of fiery red cut through, echoing her fears, pains, and dreams. Sam's eyes widened as he stepped closer, absorbing the work with intense scrutiny. Wow, Lisa, this is incredible! He exclaimed. You really captured something here. It's raw and powerful. David nodded in agreement, his expression proud. It's like you poured your heart into it. What does it mean? Their interest sparked a flicker of courage in Lisa's chest. I wanted to express how chaotic my thoughts can feel sometimes, but also how beautiful the world can be, even when everything is a mess. She hesitated, feeling vulnerable. I guess I feel trapped between making sure Mom is okay and wanting to live for myself. Sam nodded slowly, expression shifting to something more serious. That's a really brave thing to admit. Balancing both can feel impossible, but art can bring freedom, you know. It's a space where you can be exactly who you are without judgment. As Lisa processed his words, uncertainty rushed back like a wave. But what if people don't get it? What if I can't make it happen? Her voice dropped to a whisper, the weight of doubt creeping in again. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Sam countered gently. You're not creating for them, you're creating for yourself. That's the most important part. The crowd around them faded, and it felt as if it was just the three of them in that moment. Lisa looked back at her painting, seeing it in a new light. It wasn't just chaotic, it was her journey, her expression of vulnerability and strength. Suddenly, the noise of cheering festival-goers reached them again, reminding her of what lay beyond their little bubble. What if I want to share this? What if I really put it out into the world? David's smile widened. Then do it. Start small. You could even set up a stall here at the festival. People need to see this. There it was again, the spark igniting her within. The idea was both thrilling and frightening. What if I fail? Then you get back up again, Sam replied, confidence ringing in his tone. That's how it goes. We learn, we grow. You have us. We're in this with you. For the first time that evening, she truly surrendered to the rush of hope flooding her heart. The air felt lighter, and she could practically see the potential paths branching out in front of her. But as the excitement surged, the pressure remained. What if this was more than just a creative endeavor? What if her expression led to something far deeper that she wasn't ready for? The colors of her canvas mixed in her mind, stirring a whirlwind of dreams and fears. Okay, she said finally, determination finding its way back. I think I'll do it. I'll make it happen. But would she be able to confront whatever arose from sharing her art? As excitement blossomed, a nervous knot twisted in her gut, hinting at the challenges yet to come. Would this journey prove to be the path to rediscovering herself, or lead her to the edge of new uncertainties? Lisa stood there, heart thrumming wildly, ready for whatever would unfold. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the festival. Lisa stood in front of her canvas, a sense of resolution settling deep in her bones. Around her, laughter and music buzzed in the air, a reminder that life continued to pulse with energy, even amid struggles. With Sam and David beside her, she felt fortified, a powerful trio bound together by dreams, determination, and family. Are you ready? Sam asked, his voice filled with excitement and encouragement. Yeah, Lisa said, her heart racing. But what if this doesn't go as planned? David placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Then we adapt and learn. You've got this, Lisa. Trust yourself. She clenched her fists at her sides, willing her panic to subside as she took a step closer to her canvas. A crowd was beginning to form, curious faces turned in her direction, their anticipation palpable. She could feel the communal breath being held, the collective heartbeat of hope echoing around her. Taking a deep breath, Lisa lifted her chin and addressed the crowd, her voice steadying with every word. Hi everyone. I'm Lisa. I want to share something. I've been working on something that comes from a place of both chaos and beauty. Each sentence felt like a stepping stone over a creek, forging a bridge between her fears and her voice. This painting represents my journey, the struggles, the fears, but also the hope that I carry. It's a reflection of what we face, together. Each color represents the emotional tides we navigate in our lives. As she spoke, she caught Sam's eye, their shared understanding radiating warmth. Behind her, David nodded, his face lit up with admiration. The love and support she felt from them washed over her. What if you fail? Echoed in her mind. But she shoved the thought away. The strength we find in our community can help us all, she continued, feeling her passion swell. I want us to build something together, a space where everyone can share their art, their stories. A home for creativity to bloom, not just for me, but for all of us. An electric energy surged through the crowd, and Lisa watched as light sparked in the eyes of those gathering. She felt the weight of her fears lifting, replaced by a sense of belonging and purpose that filled the air. But to do that, I need your help, she added, vulnerability coating her words like honey. Together, we can create workshops, art classes, cooking events, a local marketplace. I believe this community can thrive if we all come together. The response was immediate. Applause erupted, followed by cheers. A chorus of voices filled the air around her. Yes. Let us do it. A woman called out, while others nodded enthusiastically. Tears prickled at the corners of Lisa's eyes. This was the moment she had longed for, a connection, an understanding that stretched beyond her own doubts. The warmth of acceptance blossomed within her, soothing the anxieties that once gripped her. As Lisa stepped back, the relief flooded her. She caught sight of Sam and David, who stood cheering along with the crowd. David met her gaze with nothing short of awe, his smile reflecting her sense of triumph. In that moment, she realized she was not alone. She had forged a connection that could lift her and others up. Later that evening, as the festival continued to thrum with life, Sam pulled her into a hug. "I knew you could do it," he exclaimed, his joy infectious. "I couldn't have without you," she replied, voice thick with emotion. David joined them, wrapping an arm around both of them. "This is just the beginning," he said, his words full of promise. "We'll make this happen." A plan began to form in Lisa's mind amidst the celebrations. They would hold their first community meeting next week, to bring everyone together. She began to envision what it would look like, a tapestry of ideas woven together by every individual's unique story. As the night air filled with music, laughter, and an undeniable sense of hope, Lisa took a moment to reflect. She was still navigating the chaos at home, but instead of fear, she now felt excitement. This was a chance to intertwine her responsibilities and her dreams, to bridge the gap and emerge stronger. The festival lights glittered like a constellation against the night sky. With renewed determination, Lisa breathed in the crisp night air, feeling empowered to face whatever lay ahead. She understood that the journey would be filled with ups and downs, challenges and victories, but she was ready to embrace it all. This was the evolution of her heart, a melding of hope, creativity, community, and family. And as the festival vibrated around her, she realized that the first step she took today transcended art. It was a leap into a future colored with potential. Now it was time to cherish that feeling, pull others in, and ignite a spark that could light up not just her world, but the world of those around her. With a heart overflowing with love, Lisa whispered into the night, "Let us do this together." As she moved toward her new path, she turned back to the canvas, a symbol of her journey. She felt the warmth of a community behind her, ready to shine bright against the darkness. The future beckoned her with a smile, waiting to see how this chapter would unfold. Now, this is your moment. You need to subscribe now to never miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for this channel, because it makes all the difference. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who also need this transformation in their lives. Together, let's grow this community of hope and resilience. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending below.